Hi everyone, this is Aurora with DawnDuskDesigns. If you saw my Instagram reels for Halloween and you would like to see more details on how I recreated these 3 different DIYs, then keep on watching. Let's start with the mummy pumpkin. I bought this kit from Target, but if you don't have one, you can just use these items that you see here from any local store. And of course, you'll need a 5 to 9 inch pumpkin. So you want to start by adding the wiggly eyes to the pumpkin, and you want to use the adhesive foam dots to place on the back of the eyes so that you can just stick it onto the pumpkin. Next, you want to eyeball where to place the oval black mouth foam adhesive. Then turn your pumpkin around and begin placing the adhesive foam dots on the back. And there's no magic formula for this, I would just say that you eyeball it. Peel off the backing of the adhesive foam dots. The next step is my favorite part of this project because this is where you get the gauze and you begin attaching it to the adhesive foam dots. And once you do that, you want to just wrap the gauze around your entire pumpkin. And this is where you get to be creative and just wrap it around however you feel looks the best. And it is such an adorable process, and the pumpkin here looks so cute. Like, I remember when I was first filming this, I was cracking up because it was just so cute to me, and I still think it does look super cute. So you want to wrap the gauze around the pumpkin a few times, and then once you're done with that, you want to tuck in the end of the gauze on the back in between the gauze so that it stays intact, and I found that to be the easiest way to do so. So this is the final outcome on how the mummy pumpkin turned out, and I absolutely love how this turned out. It is so cute, and it's by far the cutest pumpkin I've ever decorated. And you can see here that I've styled it in my bedroom to give you a better idea of how something like this would look. Now let's move on to the paper roll candles. So for this next project, I want to make 3 paper roll candles that are 3 different sizes. So I placed them right next to each other so that I can eyeball it and see exactly where I want to cut before I begin doing so. Once I'm done cutting the paper rolls, I'm going to clean up the edges so it doesn't look like a 5-year-old cut them. These are the 3 sizes I ended up with, and believe it or not, I only used 2 paper rolls. Now this is my most favorite part about this project because this is where you grab your glue gun and you want to start creating designs that resemble wax that is literally drizzling down as it melts, and you can be as creative as you want. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, and I think if you were to just follow kind of like what I'm doing, it'll be super easy for you. And you want to make these designs different lengths. Granted, some will be shorter, others will be longer, and I think if you're struggling with figuring out how to do this, perhaps you can grab some inspirational images from the internet, but I'm just going based off memory and I'm just being creative. So I really hope you guys enjoy this part. And one thing I do want to remind you of is that be very careful with this glue gun because I actually burned myself a few times and that part wasn't too much fun. So I hope you guys like this part. Once you're done with your design, you want to let it cool off for a few minutes, and this is how it turned out. And after you're done with the first one, you want to go ahead and proceed with the next ones. I completed the rest off camera to help maximize time, but here you can see that they're fully done and they have cooled off, and there are very tiny fibers of dried glue, so you want to remove those before you start painting them. If you're anything like me and you love painting anything, then you're totally going to enjoy this next part. So essentially what I did here was I grabbed some paint and I added it to my brush. However, after I started painting the paper roll, I realized that this specific paint wasn't really showing through. So I ended up opting for a different type of white paint that I already had. And as you can see here, what you want to essentially just do is paint every single crevice and every single inch of this paper roll alongside with the dried up glue. because you don't want to see anything that still shows part of the glue or the paper roll. So I hope this part helps and it's therapeutic for you. So now that I am finished, I'm going to let them dry up for at least 2 to 3 hours. So this is the final reveal. How cool does this look, guys? I absolutely love it. And as you can see, it was super easy. It didn't require a lot of materials and it'll be so fun to make. To create a bigger impact, I added these spiders that I got from Target a while back, and I was easily able to stick them on the wall because it did have a foam adhesive, so it was super easy to just stick against the wall. And of course, you could just eyeball this and place them wherever it is that you want. So tell me, friends, have you made these type of candles before? If so, comment down below and let me know. And if not, do you think you'll make some at some point? Also, what are your thoughts on this one so far? Let me know in the comments below.
Okay guys, I want to show you something that I did because these candles didn't fit inside the paper roll. So what I did was I stuffed them with tissue paper, the kind that you use for birthday gifts. And that's the only way that these are able to stay intact. Let me show you. You see that? And it doesn't matter what color it is. Ideally, I should have used white, but I didn't have white. So I just used what I had, which is red. Likely you can't really see it, but there you go. I wanted to show you.
Last but not least, here's the final DIY project. These are the materials you will need to make this project, and please note that if you don't have the dinosaur shapes, you can create them using foam sheets, and you can gather the other items from your local craft store. So you want to start by dipping your brush inside of the paint and painting the entire pumpkin with this blue paint, and you want to make sure that you cover every crevice, every inch in its entirety. I want to caution you that when you're almost done painting the entire pumpkin, the one thing that you really want to focus on is, or basically you don't want to focus on, is the bottom part. So as you can see here, I'm painting the bottom portion, but make sure that you let that pumpkin sit on its side so that the bottom part can fully dry. Don't paint it and then place it on the paper, because as it's drying up, the paper's gonna get stuck, and I learned the hard way. A bunch of paper just got stuck to it and it was really hard to remove, so I had to paint over that white paper that got stuck on the pumpkin, and that wasn't fun and it doesn't look cute. So I would say don't really focus too much on painting the bottom part, because no one's really gonna see it anyway. It will just be something that you just have to live with, okay? And this is precisely what I was talking about. You can see all this white paper just stuck on it. And yeah, I don't think it looks pleasant at all. But as you can see, I tried to remove the paper, but that wasn't working. It was just removing the paint that I had, and I was already running out of paint to begin with. So please learn from my mistakes. And this is why I make these videos, so that you don't have to repeat the mistakes I made. So as you can see, we're coming close to an end. I just need to finalize or make some final touches, and I'm just scooping out as much of that paint out of this little container, and I'm gonna really get in there and touch up all those crevices and edges that still need, you know, to be fully covered with paint. So my favorite part about this project is dressing up the pumpkin to make it look like a dinosaur. So here I'm spreading out the materials and sticking all the parts on the dinosaur so it actually looks like a dinosaur. And one thing I noticed was that the adhesive parts were no longer sticky, so I had to improvise. And that's super easy to do, as I'm sure you can imagine. Make sure that you cut the holographic paper spike strips, and you're gonna basically just eyeball it and place them on the tail and also on top of the pumpkin. Before you stick the body parts, you want to eyeball it and place them on the pumpkin to kind of get a general idea of where you want them placed. And this is relatively easy, but it does take a little bit of time, so it does require patience, so make sure you have some of that. So because I've had this kit for quite some time, I noticed that when I removed the backing of the head of the dinosaur, it wasn't really sticky anymore. So I had to improvise, and I ended up using the hot glue gun to make it work. And this is just something that, you know, it happens to all of us, so just be prepared to have to improvise sometimes with the things that you already have. So here you can see that I'm gluing the paper spikes, and I'm eyeballing the top spikes so that I know where to place them. I'm folding the bottom part inwardly so that I can stick it on top of the pumpkin. So tell me, friends, what do you think of this dinosaur pumpkin so far, since we're just about to be finished? Oh my goodness, I am so obsessed with this look. It is so adorable and so cute. Who would have thought that this pumpkin would turn out to look like this? So you see how the tail is sticking out? I had to do something special to it. So let me show you. Believe it or not, I had to puncture this poor dinosaur with toothpicks so that it'll actually stick out like that. And I wanted to show you up close and personal so that you can see how it was done in case you do recreate this dinosaur pumpkin. So now that you've seen all of the 3 DIYs, please comment down below and let me know which one's your favorite. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I love you guys so much.